and return to their home soil and into the grieving arms of their loved ones. 4 U.S. service members defending our interests and alliances in Europe perished last week.
A leader who believes he is above the law. No one is asking us to charge across a bloody beach. All that's asked of us is that we remember the greatest generation's legacy and prove we're worthy of their sacrifice.
Every president has accepted the responsibility to greet our fallen heroes. It doesn't matter the party. Where is their president today? Golfing. Again.
Trump just got played like a cheap fiddle by the Lincoln Project, and his meltdown is making even his supporters cringe. Their 2 new parody ads hit him where it hurts most: his ego, his appearance, and his desperate need to be seen as a winner. Remember when political ads were boring policy discussions? The Lincoln Project has turned trolling Trump into an art form, and he falls for it every single time. Watch as we break down how these ads work as perfect psychological traps that Trump can't help but stumble into. Have you ever seen a cat with a laser pointer? That red dot zips around and the cat just can't help itself. Pounce, chase, repeat. That's basically Trump watching Lincoln Project ads. He steps on the same rake over and over, and his advisors probably need aspirin subscriptions at this point. The Lincoln Project isn't just making random funny videos to annoy our Orange ex-president. They've got actual psychologists figuring out what makes Trump tick. It's like they have a special Trump tantrum button, and boy do they love pressing it. They're basically political trolls with psychology degrees, which honestly sounds like a pretty fun job.
Then came the tariffs, markets crashing, retirements wiped out, America isolated, weak, China winning the trade game.
A leader who believes he is above the law. No one is asking us to charge across a bloody beach. All that's asked of us is that we remember the greatest generation's legacy and prove we're worthy of their sacrifice.
When American troops perish in the line of duty, the remains are treated with the greatest honor and quiet dignity. They are placed aboard special Air Force transport planes.
Their 2 new ads are master classes in Trump triggering. First up is Art of the Squeal. See what they did there? It flips Trump's whole self-made business genius story upside down. Instead of the deal-making wizard he pretends to be, they show him as the bankrupt casino guy who couldn't sell steaks, vodka, or even college degrees with his name plastered on them. The ad basically says, "Hey America, remember when this guy couldn't even make money selling gambling booze and meat to Americans?" That's like failing a test where all the answers are already filled in. Then there's Tremendous Loser, which hits Trump's nuclear button, being called a loser. The ad showcases his recent failures, legal problems, and that time he lost to Joe Biden, who he claimed was too old to function. Trump's entire personality is built on being a winner.
And return to their home soil and into the grieving arms of their loved ones. 4 U.S. service members defending our interests and alliances in Europe perished last week.
80 years ago, the guns fell silent across Europe. The bloodiest war in European history ended with the unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany.
He pardoned terrorists and criminals. This isn't a second term. It's Trump's second chance to end America, and it's working. So no, you're not better off. You're not safer. Nothing is cheaper. The economy is worse. Our country is in danger.
It's practically tattooed on his brain alongside very stable genius and person who can identify elephants on cognitive tests. These ads work because they target the Grand Canyon-sized gap between how Trump sees himself and how normal people see him. In Trump's mind, he's a strong, brilliant businessman who people respect. In reality, he's the guy who suggested injecting bleach during a pandemic. The Lincoln Project knows this gap exists, and they're basically doing psychological jujitsu with it. The funniest part is how they use humor. Most politicians can laugh at themselves. Obama joked about his ears, Bush about his speaking skills, but Trump making people laugh at him is his personal kryptonite. When people laugh at Trump, his tiny hands ball into even tinier fists of rage. The Lincoln Project knows this and creates ads that make people snort coffee through their noses. Trump's advisors probably beg him to ignore these ads. You can imagine them saying, "Sir, please don't respond to Donnie diapers. It only gives them more attention." But Trump's need to counterpunch is stronger than his need for oxygen. He literally can't help himself. After the Donnie Diapers ad, he fired off 7 separate Truth Social posts, each one crazier than the last. It's like watching someone fight with their own reflection. When Trump starts his post-ad tantrums, he actually proves everything the Lincoln Project said about him. They claim he's thin-skinned and immature, then he responds with all-caps posts filled with spelling mistakes and weird random brags about crowd sizes. It's like the Lincoln Project says, Trump is easily triggered, and Trump responds, "No, I'm not, you terrible, horrible people. My inauguration was the biggest ever." Many people say so.
Not up to Elon Musk. That's your data, your social security account, your tax return, your student loans, your VA health records.
But Elon has cracked the code. He is now inside the agency.
Ask yourself, are you better off than you were 100 days ago? Trump came back, not to lead, but to punish. He purged loyal Americans from government.
This was good versus evil, and good won. They came from small towns and big cities, the men and women of America, ready to die in places they had never heard of, for a people they didn't know.
The craziest part? Trump keeps falling for the same trick over and over. His Truth Social account becomes a personal tantrum playground every time they release an ad. It's like that definition of insanity, doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting different results. The Lincoln Project releases an insulting ad, Trump has a meltdown, the ad gets 10 times more views because of his meltdown, repeat next week. Trump's reactions have turned the Lincoln Project's ads into a political Netflix series that people can't stop watching. Each episode follows the same format, but somehow it's still entertaining. Their psychological warfare has become must-see political TV, with Trump serving as both the target and the unwitting promoter.
Every president has accepted the responsibility to greet our fallen heroes. It doesn't matter the party. Where is their president today? Golfing. Again.
Used deer. They had different politics, but they knew right from wrong. They knew what it meant to be an American. Now it's our turn to fight for America, to stand up to a darkness that threatens the basic rights of Americans.
Turning our government into a police state, kidnapping American citizens, sending innocent people to foreign hellholes, snatching students off the street for tweeting.
By understanding exactly which buttons to push, the Lincoln Project has created the perfect Trump trap. They know he'll explode with anger, and his explosions give them free publicity that money can't buy. While other political groups spend millions trying to reach voters, the Lincoln Project just releases an ad calling Trump grumpy and watches him do their marketing for them. In this weird political game, Trump's fragile ego has become the Lincoln Project's greatest asset. They've found a way to live rent-free in his head, and judging by his reactions, it's a spacious place with plenty of room for more ads. The Lincoln Project has basically invented political mind games 2.0, turning Trump's ego into their secret weapon. While other groups spend millions on ads, these guys just need to make fun of his hair or his tiny crowds, and Trump does all their marketing for free. It's like political jujitsu, using your opponent's weight against them. But Trump still hasn't figured out that his tantrums are exactly what they want. Every time he rage posts about being a stable genius, these parody ads spread like wildfire. Looks like the real art of the deal is getting your opponent to promote your message by simply poking his fragile ego.